small business background. I've been in small business 20 plus years, very, very well versed in digital marketing. I know all aspects of digital marketing and heavily involved for the last 12 years in international e-commerce. For the last 5 years, the Google team has asked me to be able to speak as one of the trainers because I have that great opportunity, as all the 15 trainers do, that we come from grassroots small business background. I was able to be recognized by the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business. I've been person of vision for the state of Texas, and I have the wonderful opportunity to serve on several boards of directors, especially Agora Pulse with the Social Media Advisory Board. I just love the opportunity to help small businesses grow and to be able to use free or small fee. So I'm a bootstrap marketer, so free or small fee tools to get you where you need to go and to be able to increase your success online. So today we're going to be talking about that. This is who I am, and today's topic is really the start of our small business boot camp. This is to get you ready to finish 2022 strong. You know, we've got a lot going on, and yes, in 2020 all of us went online, but now we have to fine tune what we're doing and really know and understand our customers and be an expert on them. I'll talk to you about how you can do that so you can connect really seamlessly with them online, and then to see you and realize, oh my gosh, this business, this person, this freelancer gets me, and this is who I need to work with. Now, again, if you need closed captions, if you'll go here to this URL, just open up another tab. For those of you who just came in, go to that URL and you will have everything that you need by a live person. Emily's typing there. Just use the gear icon at the top right to help adjust the font size and anything you need to make it comfortable. If you're tweeting or posting, use the hashtag grow with Google. It lets the Google team know this matters to you, and I want them to make more boot camps. And then also, if you will use these tags, you're welcome to tag me. This is me on Twitter. This is me on Instagram right here. You'll see that little laser there pointing there. Just make sure you tag me and I'll happily repost or retweet or share you in my story. Deal? All right, thank you to our wonderful Google partners for hosting this. We're gonna go ahead and dive in, but I wanna give a shout out to Nora, to Jessica. Welcome, Jessica. I see you here. Elizabeth, welcome from Denton, and Sabrina. Okay, you're exactly right, Sabrina. That is where you comment at. You found it perfectly. Find that question box, everybody, because anybody who's commented there will get a copy of today's recording. So it's not just you coming here, you do have to take that action. You know, you'll find that everything that I do today is about applying what you're learning. I am not a believer that knowledge is power. I am a believer that knowledge is not powerful until it is applied. So we're going to be talking about that. Apply right now and say that you want a copy of the recording, and I will make sure that you get a copy, or just comment. That's all you need to do. And a little bit, I'll tell you how to get a copy of today's slides. All right, everybody, let's go in and talk about being visible. Absolutely, thank you, thank you. What, Fabiola, Caitlin, great. I'm so glad you found the question box as well, Valerie. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about the Google Business Profile. How many of you have a Google Business Profile? Say Y in there, yes, if you do, or N. Just there in the question box, yes or no, do you have one? This gives me a chance to know the speed and what I need to focus on today's webinar. So I see, okay, a few yeses, a few nos. All right, for those of you who have yeses, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Marian, thanks for asking. So yes, so for those of you who do have a Google Business Profile, tell me yes or no whether or not you post to your Google Business Profile every 5 days. Okay, yes or no, for those of you that do have a Google Business Profile. All right, ooh, lots of no's in there. For those of you who have a Google Business Profile, how many of you are using the free website that comes with your Google Business Profile? Yes or no? Okay. So even though some of you have Google Business Profiles, understand everything I'm going to be talking about today is optimizing and maximizing your visibility to the search engine. Because if the search engine can't find you, it can't present you to somebody who is searching for information on there. And if you don't show up in the first page of an organic Google search, you don't exist. People only look at the first page. A couple of years ago, those of you from REI who've been in other webinars with me over the past couple of years know that I used to say the first 30 searches, the first 3 pages of a Google search, but now it's just the first page. And understand that's 10 organic search results per page, and you have to show up there or else people think that you went out of business, or they don't think you're an expert at what you do if you don't show up in the first page, or they don't even know you exist. So we'll talk about how you can dominate and be there with a Google business profile. We'll also create a business profile, and I'll walk you through how to do that, because there were several people who said they don't know how to do that. For those of you who have created one, make sure you've checked everything that I'm going over in here, because I'm going through best practices so the search engine will see you and that you've not missed a step, because just one misstep can be the difference between being seen by the search engine and not. How to manage that business information, because you are in charge of all your business information on Google if you verified that you're the business owner. So you're the one responsible for that. And I always know when people don't know that they have that kind of power, because they'll say things like, I don't know why the search engine does this. That's an old business. That's an old page. Why is that showing up? Why am I not showing up here? Because they're not managing it themselves. So having said that, the next question I have for you is I'm going to go over in this boot camp several different tools, okay? Over the next course of the next few days as we finish out this week in the boot camp, I'm going to go over several tools. They're all free. The only one that's not is Google Ads, but there are aspects of Google Ads that are 100% free that I am going to cover here, how you can use that for free. So as I go through these tools, I want you to let me know 1 through 7, how many do you have that you already use, okay? So let's get started. Google Business Profile is 1. Google Search Console, Google Ads, Google Search, I did Search Console already, so I'm sorry. Google Tag Manager, Google Merchant Center, YouTube. YouTube, by the way, is the #2 search engine in the world. Both are owned by Google. So if you don't know how the algorithm works, then you are missing the first 2 most powerful search engines that will deliver your results and visibility to you. And then #7 is Google Ads. To think about that for a minute, got lost in my own mind. So have you used all 7, or how many of those 7 have you used? Okay, somebody said 2, somebody says 1. Brand new to all of this, do not feel that this is going to be overwhelming, because I'm going to step you through how you could do this, and you're not going to get into any bad habits, okay? So we will walk through this. 3 of the 7, brand new. 1, 2, perfect. All right. After we finish the entire boot camp series, you're going to know how to use all of these for free. And of course, Google Ads, there is some ad spend there, but I'll talk to you about the free aspects, because there's so much you can use there, right? For free. Deal? All right, let's jump in. And as I end everything, I'll cover resources too that will help you, again, free resources, because that's who I am. All right, first I'm going to launch into a video. You're going to see about Vince. He's a small business owner. He's a family-owned business. Understand, he's near and dear to my heart because I come from a family-owned business. 20 years ago, I started a business that my 3 adult sons now run. And in fact, I'm so excited because they run an agency, and they also run a business that started at 100,000 in sales online with e-commerce, and now we're at 6.1 million. Pretty sweet, right? So let's talk about the small business, because the dynamics of a family-owned business is a lot different. But here, when he's talking about marketing, you definitely want to hear how he makes himself visible. Do you bear with me that if you don't hear any audio, that means you have to switch from computer to phone audio? Just giving you the heads up, okay?
My name is Vince. This is my shop. I opened Village Tailoring Cleaners in 1977. I arrived in New York 4 years earlier from Italy. It was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. My mother taught me how to sew. When I opened the shop, the first person I hired was my mother. This is Bruno, the store mascot. My little advertisement. As a business owner, you're always thinking, how can you do better? I noticed that customers come in with the clothes in one hand and the phone on the other, always looking up information. So I said to myself, we have to put this store online. Google lets me decide how the shop shows up. I pick photos, I can post special hours, anything. I made this website in 10 minutes using the website builder. And I'm not kidding. Now people walk in and I'm always asking, how did you find us? They used to say, I saw Bruno, so I came in. Now they say, Google. Believe it or not, we're up 30% this year. We're doing enough business, I had to hire more tailors and get some new machines. I've got 3 shops going. And my son Vincent Jr., he's running one of them, the village cobbler next door. I'm in an old-fashioned profession. I work with my hands. I hadn't thought much about putting the business online. Now, I couldn't be happier. Village tailor, 40 years and going strong.
All right, so that's wonderful, Vince, and I'm with you, Sabrina. I'm with you. I definitely, oh yes, I love the video. Yes, I really do, but yes, I'm definitely with you. That was my dream, to provide a business for my boys and give them the opportunity to just have that, opportunities and choices. So I'm excited that that's your dream as well. And again, in that question box, if you want a copy of today's slides, just say yes that you want a copy. So just put the word yes right there now, and you will get a copy of today's slides. Again, it's going to be 24 hours, everybody. I'll send again the copy. Oops, let me see. It's not sharing my screen here. Where is it? There we go. All right, now it's sharing my screen. Now you'll get a copy of today's slides along with the actual recording. And a lot of people like to do that because they like to follow along with the slides and use it as a checklist. So let's talk about what your Google business profile is. Yes, you will get a copy just for commenting there. So that's what you needed to do right at that timestamp. So you've got it, everybody. Let's go ahead and talk about the business profile. And use that question box if you have any questions. This is what it looks like on a mobile device. So it's got your name, some really good brand consistency, and photos and videos. Remember to keep your brand consistent. Whatever you're showing in your socials, on your different profiles, on your website, on your Etsy, wherever you are promoting your business, do make sure you've got some good consistency there. With marketing, it is about consistency. There's no silver bullets. That's the unsexy part. Marketing itself is really not sexy. It's persistent and consistent action. Look at the quick links here that you can use to connect to your actual property online, which is your website. So you can connect there, as well as if you've got an Etsy store, you can connect here as well, but I'll show you how you can use this. And also suppress your address so it doesn't show up. Do not believe the myth that if you're a home-based business that you can't use Google Business Profile. You can. Now, you may have known its name before, which was Google My Business or GMB or Google Listing, but in January it became Google Business Profile. So you'll hear me talk about the business profile. This is what I'm talking about. You can have your location in there if you want to show your location. Your hours of operation can be here too. Understand that if people find that, let's say locally, they're looking to see who has local inventory, and they find that you are open according to the hours here, and they drive up and you're closed, they're not mad at Google. They're mad at you. And that is all a part of your first impression, which is very lasting. And then your phone number. So you have all access there to control your correct information on Google. And it's important for you to understand how people search. So Google has an algorithm. You may have heard of it, but there are 3 pillars to that algorithm. Pillar number 1 is relevance. How well do you match what someone is searching for? It's our job to do the heavy lifting in our business and understand what our customer needs, what their words are that they use. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions that I really want you to spend time thinking about. Number 1 is, if people know your name and they know that you exist or that there's a product or service that can serve them, how are they searching for you? How are they finding you? Do you have a Facebook page, Instagram site, maybe with a link there, so your links to your bio, or maybe you have a links site which actually shows all these different ways to connect with you, connected to your Instagram profile? Do you have a LinkedIn profile, or maybe they're connected with you on Facebook? So maybe you have a Facebook business page or TikTok profile. So how are people finding you now if they know you exist and they know that you have a product or service that can serve them? The second question, though, is to think about if they don't know you exist, but they know that there's a product or service that can serve them, how are they finding you? Really think about that. Where are they looking at? and really understand your customers. A lot of times, because we become so close to our industry, we start using words that only industry speak, industry experts use, not what other people use. So I was working with credit unions and banks, and they really felt like somebody would look for and start Googling a loan originator. And I told them, you know what? Unless they're looking for a job as a loan originator, they're not going to search for that. I had another group I was working with, dental group, and they thought people would look for a pediatric dentist. No, not at all. The words were much different. They were looking for a dentist who does braces, who fixes teeth. Use the words, because those words need to match. That's how you dominate that first part of the algorithm pillar, which is relevance. You have to be relevant. Match what words the user uses, whether they type it in or they say, hey Google, hey Alexa, because voice search is definitely something that people do a lot of. It's also, though, important for you to know the answer of the third question and really understanding your customers. If they're searching or they find you on maps, what their next behavior is. But the third question is if they don't know you exist and they don't know that there's a product or service that can serve them, what are they searching for? In the aspect of the pediatric dentist, people were going onto their Facebook feed just saying, hey guys, my 13-year-old boy needs his teeth straightened. I need help. What do you recommend that I do? Okay. If you aren't using those words in your actual content online, be it your website, your socials, your profiles, your posts, anything like that, your Google business profile, you're not matching and you're not going to show up in the first page of an organic Google search. You must be relevant and match what people are searching for. So think about that. When everything happened, the lockdown, all of this going on, people were searching for tech support, but they weren't using the words tech support. They were using the phrase, I hate my computer. It was the #1 search phrase. I hate my computer. Imagine you have a tech support company and you're putting tech support, we provide tech support, in-home tech support, we come to your location, mobile tech support, but you aren't using the phrase, I hate my computer. Today, did you look at your computer and say, I hate my computer and wish somebody would help you with it? Now you're relevant. Now you're showing up on the first page of an organic Google search. It's really important for you to understand what people look for. And if you don't know what they look for, let's say you've not been in business long enough, or if you have, talk to your customers, ask them. It's good to talk to them other than just when you want to sell them something or have them resubscribe. It's good to have a relationship with your customer, because people will leave businesses, but they won't leave relationships. So connect with them and find this out. But if you don't even have customers or you want to find out a little bit more, read your competitors' reviews. In your competitors' reviews, it will let you know the words people use that they really, really like that your competitor provides. But it also lets them, you know, what are the things that your competitor misses on. And maybe that's your sweet spot. Maybe you can fill in for that. Or maybe you do a better job delivering something. So you do read your competitors' reviews. That's public facing and easy for you to find out a little bit more, plus the words that people are using. This is really important for you to be able to match, okay? So we're gonna talk about how you can get started. And one of the things you can do is right now, Google yourself. If you don't have a Google business profile, Google yourself and find out where you actually end up. Somebody may have already put you into a Google business profile by checking into your place or leaving you a review, but you've not claimed it yet, which means you're not managing your online reputation, which is very key. It's critical. If you don't have a good online reputation, that's considered word of mouth still and third-party validation. All right, so we're going to talk about how you can create and really optimize that Google business profile. Now let me see, I see some questions here. Should we be seeing something other than what is a Google business profile? Oh my goodness. Well, why does that keep pausing on me? Sorry about that. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Sabrina. Holy cow. Well, that's no fun. Let me go back here. Not sure why that kept paused for you. Yes, you should have been seeing all of these things. All right. So you should have seen, this is where we left off at. You should have seen this. Sorry about that, Sabrina. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I apologize. I just saw that come through the question box. But yes, it gives you a lot of credibility. You need to understand how people search for you on maps and what their next action is. Really, again, understanding and being in a relationship with your customer, really being an expert on them. And also it's important that across all devices that you're showing up, because people have a whole bunch of devices. Some of them have several devices, right, that they actually use. many times during the day. Okay, so as you get started, thank you, Sabrina, so much. All right, so how do you create a business profile? Ooh, what happened to you on Sunday, Renee? I'd love to hear what happened to you. So if you go to google.com/business, oh yes, I'm seeing confirmation from everybody that you're seeing that. Thank you, Sabrina, again, and thank you everybody for confirming that you're seeing the slides advancing. So what is a Google business profile? We'll go to google.com/business if you don't have one, or if you're not sure if you have one. What you'll do is you'll sign in. Now, if you've got a Gmail account, all you need to do is log into your Gmail account, click sign in right here. When you go to google.com/business, it will remember your credentials and you're golden, you're in. But if you don't have a Gmail account, not to worry. You don't have to change your email to Gmail. What you'll do is you'll go here to this URL. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, go to this URL and you'll create a Google account, a free Google account. Now understand, even with your free personal Gmail account, it's not the paid, so no paid, nothing. Free personal Gmail or free Google account, you have access to all these free Google tools. So you'll create an account. If you want a free Google account, but you don't want a Gmail account, put your email address there. It doesn't change it to Gmail. Create a password, and like any other password protected site online, this is what you'll use to log in and access all the free Google tools. So when you go to google.com/business, you'll put in your business name here. Now understand that'll show every business that matches that name in the entire United States. You want to select the one that is at your location because that's you. Now, if nothing's showing up, that means Google doesn't even know that you exist yet, so you can go ahead and put your name in here. I encourage you to use the name of your business as the proper name of your business. So unless you've got a formal DBA put in to change the name or to have it appear differently as a doing business as, then use the proper name, because sometimes you will need to verify you're the owner by using a utility bill or a bank statement with all the other information redacted from it, but it does need to show that that is the name of the business. So keep that in mind. You can always, as you're verified as the owner, go back in and change it to the name that more people may know it as, like Vince's. You know, instead of Vince's tailor shop, it's just Vince's. They just know it as Vince's, so he was able to change it to that. Now you're going to go ahead and put your business name there, as well as a business category. There are 3,000 different categories. Choose the one that's closest to you. None of them will be perfect to your business because you're very unique. You have a unique selling proposition, which is great. That's what makes your business so good and profitable. But here's what to keep in mind. That after you've verified that you're the business owner, you'll have the opportunity to add 9 subcategories. 9 subcategories lets you choose other categories that also describe what you provide. Choose 9 that actually do mirror that, and now with all 10, the main category and 9 subcategories, that really gives a robust picture of what you provide your customers. After that, you'll click next. Now you're going to be presented with one of the most important questions I think you're asked here, and that is whether or not you want your address to show up. So if you're a store, a salon, a bar, a restaurant, whatever it is that you want foot traffic, you want people coming to your location, you will put the answer yes. You want them to find you on maps, you want them to come to your place. But if you are by appointment only, home-based, or if you're, let's say, someplace where it's not public facing, let's say you're a carpet installer and you have a warehouse where you keep all of your equipment and your actual supplies, but it's not meant to be public facing, people aren't supposed to go there, then you would click no, that you do not want your location to show up, that you serve your customers at their location. Now understand, I get a lot of people who have Etsy shops or have different shops that they provide online, but offline, they do deliver to some people locally, friends and family members, people they go to church with, their kiddos' teacher or their own teachers, people that they volunteer with, their friends that they go to Wine Wednesday with. Whatever you do, if you bring any product at any time to anybody or they come pick it up from your mailbox or your location, wherever it is, then you just click no, and you have the opportunity still to show up in Google Business Profile. Make sense? So any of your friends that have a home-based business that think they can't use this, they can. In fact, I work with a lot of skincare consultants who use this, even though there's a big corporate headquarters where they can shop online. They want to show that they're the local representative serving the area. So they will click no here because they don't want people showing up on their doorstep at 5:30 in the morning looking for lotion, but they do want to show they serve the area. And now we'll go through the next steps of how you show up for that. Once you click next here, what you'll do is put your address. No matter what you answered here, whether you said yes or no, you're going to put your address, which always throws everyone for a loop. But we do need to send a postcard to you to confirm that you are the actual owner. So it goes to your mailing address that you put in there. Now understand, there are some places that have a physical location, but their mailing address isn't right there, so they have a P.O. box. Unfortunately, P.O. boxes do not work here. You need to actually have an address where they deliver mail to that's not a P.O. box. I was working with a community theater, and they actually had a theater. That's where the props were. That's where they did auditions, and they had plays. So people actually came to an actual location, but their mailing address was a P.O. box. So what the executive director did is, as he went through this part, he actually said no at this part because he didn't want his address to show up. And he put his home address where he could receive some mail. When he received the postcard, he put the 5-digit verification code in. Once he verified he was the owner and could manage this, then he changed this to the actual address of the theater. So that's one workaround of that. So I just wanted to make you aware because I know some people have P.O. boxes. After that, you're going to click next. So no matter whether you say yes or no, you want your address to show up, your next move is to click next. Now you're going to choose your service area. For those of you who did not want your address shown, this is a chance for you to show what zip codes and what cities that you serve. You can put up to 20 different zip codes, cities, or even counties in there if you want. But here's the caution. Google Business Profile's superpower is hyper local. It's very local focused. That is the superpower of the tool. Once you start diluting it, trying to reach all across the United States or across the world, you dilute the effectiveness of the tool, and now you don't even show up in the first page of a Google search. So it's really important for you to know that that's what this tool does. There are other tools that can help you reach nationwide or worldwide, but this tool is hyper local focused. When I say that, I mean local, within 100 miles. In fact, whenever I'm coaching businesses, I explain to them, really try to stay in 25 to 35 miles, because now you can make sure you're showing up high there and getting a lot of good visibility and using the power of the tool. Now, I do understand, I live in rural West Texas. San Angelo is 110 miles away. If I go to a chamber event in San Angelo, I drive 110 miles one way in the morning. After lunch, come 110 miles back. That's just down the road for me. I serve the area, but understand that still within the Google tool, 110 miles is too far. I start trying to reach there and be reaching anywhere, everywhere, and somewhere, then I won't reach anyone because the tool will not present or now show up in the search results, which, remember what I said, you have to show up on the first page of an organic Google search. So keep it as tight as you can and use other tools for this. Besides, you need this to be able to level up your reputation. You need at least 60 5-star reviews. So 60 5-star reviews. And when I say 60, it's not just 5 stars. They have to have text after them. So there has to be some sort of words, just not 5 stars and nobody left a comment. Those don't count. Only 60 that have 5 stars and a comment count. And now once you get to 60, those gold stars start showing up next to your business. Now, if you're in e-commerce, you need at least 120 of those 5 stars with comments to even be able to walk into competition. So this is your chance to nail it before you scale it, because before you started your business, you existed as a person. So you have relationships within your community. Somebody who took care of your children, head of daycare, somebody that you went to church with, that you volunteer with, you went to school with, people that you've done volunteer work with, all of these people, your dry cleaner even, you can go and ask them to, hey, I'm starting my business, I'm growing my business, and I really would appreciate if you would leave a review. It'd be really helpful as I grow the visibility of my business and would be a great, wonderful favor and be helpful to me. You can reach out to these people and do that, and now as a bigger fish in a smaller pond, really nail it before you scale it. So you're ready to scale with your 60 5-star reviews or 120 if you're an e-commerce site. So this is really what you need to do. I know, because I do talk to a lot of small businesses who really fight this, and they think, oh, I want to go everywhere. So they'll put that they serve from Florida all the way to Seattle, Washington, and you show up nowhere in search because they've truly made and actually diluted the effectiveness of this tool. Make sense to everybody? Can you have more than one account? Yes, you can. You can put 100 Google business profile accounts with one Gmail or one Google account. So yes, you can. All right, so nothing on the door. Let's see. Restaurant was supposed to be open on Sunday until 5. Got there and they were closed. Oh, Renee, you know, doesn't that just make you mad? You're mad at the restaurant. You're not mad at Google. More often than not, people are mad at the restaurant. So they're mad at the location. That's why it's so important for you to be in charge of that, because that's where people go when they want information and they want to know, go, do, or buy. So Amy, let's say, were there any courses prior to this one, or is this the first in the series? This is the first in the series, Amy. So this is getting you started with the free tool, Google Business Profile, which will help you be seen locally and also will set you up for success to be able to see elsewhere and to reach wider, okay? All right, some great questions here. Awesome, perfect, Amy. I'm glad it was helpful to you. You can now add your contact information here. You'll see this here, just making sure you guys can see my screen. And then also you can put your website URL if you have a website. If you don't, not to worry, you can always add it later too. Now, 99% of the time, this will be grayed out, so you won't even be able to use the phone number. All you can do is postcard by mail. Now, do know that this postcard looks nothing like a postcard. It looks like a W-2 with perforations on the side and the top. So a lot of people think it's an ad and they throw it away. You may want to put your name as the contact in case you have anybody else picking up mail, just so that they don't think it's junk mail and already cull it out there for you. Now you can make sure you get that. Once you send this off, double check your work and double check the spelling, because once you send this off, the last thing you want to do is send it off and realize, oh, you know, like we do, we read something 300 times and all of a sudden now we see the mistake or the typo. But you don't want that to happen, because if you try to change it while it's still in the verification process, it hasn't been verified, it's just on its way. Now you get in this horrible verification loop and you will probably have to start over again. And it becomes very time consuming. And who of us has just additional time, right? As small businesses, man, time is more valuable than money. So once you verify everything there, you know that the spelling's good. Now you can click continue to say, make sure your postcard's on its way. While it's on its way, it takes 5 to 10 business days, and they've been running about 5 business days is what I've been seeing for everybody looking for new postcards. You still can add services. So because of the category that you've chosen, it's going to present you with some services that you can add. That's Google's AI, artificial intelligence, pulling from past industry experience. But you can also see down here at the very bottom right there, before you scroll off that screen, you can add your custom services too. So it doesn't just have to be the services that are recommended to you. In fact, if you don't want those services, you can just click uncheck here and you can add your own here too. Of course, now this is the business hours. Like Renee said, we need to keep our business hours up to date and keep them correct. We want people to find us and be happy with us. You can also add messaging. So what messaging is messaging works just like text message. You have the opportunity on your mobile device when you're in Google Maps. So you're in Google Maps app, and you can message with people without them seeing your cell phone number. So now you don't have to worry about some random people having your cell phone number, but you can message back and forth. And let's say you're in today's event, you're really learning in the boot camp, and you can have other people with your organization, your company, answer and respond for you, because sometimes the first person that responds is the one who earns the business. Real estate agents know this very, very well. Sometimes it's just the person who answers the phone. Do understand though that it is text messaging. It's just like it. So in text messaging, it's not like email where we might be patient for 24 hours. In 6 hours, if you haven't responded to a text message, some people are having some real feelings about why you've not responded to them. And in 24 hours, they really are just not wanting to hear anymore. They're expecting instant results. You also have the chance now to update your business description. Now do see here has a little ability for you to see how many characters you're using. So you have 750 characters. A character is an alphabet item, so an alphabet letter. It's a grammatical, punctuation mark, or it could also be a space. So it's any of those that is a part of your business description, and you have 750. Here's your heavy lifting though here, and it's understanding what your customer's searching for and using their words here. Remember what I said about relevancy. That is so important and the heaviest weighted part of Google's algorithm. Now you can add photos, Customize those photos. Remember what I said about visual branding and that consistency. This is very important. So look for things that will help people either understand what you do or understand where you're located, depending on what you want to do with your profile. If you are wanting people to come visit your location and you're looking for traffic, then make it easier for them to find you if it's difficult, or even if you're hidden some places off of a main thoroughfare or they can't see you from the street, or even as they enter the parking lot. Or it could be, let's say you're an accounting service and you want to show people, you might do a photo where it's people who have a shoebox of receipts and now it's changed to this beautiful spreadsheet. However it is that you want to depict it, you might even look to your competitors to see how they're visually depicting it on Instagram or TikTok to be able to get some ideas for you, okay? And now you can also go to ads. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but part of our business boot camp is the ability to work on ads and how to get started. And I'll show you the free part of that when we get to that session, okay? Now, when the verification postcard comes, you're going to get 5 digits that you're going to need to enter in there. At that time, once it's entered and verified, now you can start making some adjustments and customizations. So I see a question here. We won't start getting spam or unsolicited messages, will we? Well, in the messaging, you might, if you do, just turn that off, okay? But normally you don't, because what happens with messaging, Fabiola, is they have to have a Google account to message you, okay? So that does verify their identity, which makes it the same thing with reviews. They have to have a Google account to leave a review for you, okay? Now, do people get fake Google accounts? Absolutely. Gmail's easy to get. That's the blessing and the curse of Gmail. So again, you have to do and see what works for your own business, and if it becomes a problem, you can turn it off and even keep it off for a little while till you get past that, because a lot of the trolls come in droves, right? They come all together. So great questions. Any other questions here? All right. So let's talk about how we can manage that business info and maximize our visibility, but feel free to use the question box if you have questions. Now, once you've verified you're the owner and you're logged into the Google account, be it Gmail or the Google account that you set this up at, when you're in Google search, you can start editing the profile, promoting, or even seeing the customers that are following you here, which is great insight into who your actual target audience is. And you can do that all directly from search. So you can update your hours, your products, your services, and your photos. For example, with your business information, if you learned while the postcard was away that your customers are using certain wording, you can go here and change your description. This is also now the opportunity, now that you've verified, you can change and add 9 subcategories to really customize and show the uniqueness of your business. And then, of course, if you need to change the name to a name that more people realize and recognize, you can do that here too. When you are here in the contact information, this is where I tell people to be careful. So if you chose, no, I do not want people coming to my location, I don't want to publish my address at all, I'm a home-based business, do not come here, then do not make the mistake of taking the pin and dropping it where you're at. Because the minute you do that, that's a signal to Google that you do want to show up on maps, and you will show up on maps. So do not mess with this at all if you do not want your actual location to show up, but you can look and make sure your phone number is correct and your website. Just don't touch here. Now, for those of you that have a location, and let's say the pin was in the wrong location, because that happens from time to time, and we understand that, all you need to do is drop and drag it to the right location. Again, this is for people who want people coming to their location and want the foot traffic. But the thing to know is once you drop and drag it, it can take up to 90 days before it's actually changed on maps. So what happens is Google has a satellite that goes overhead to confirm when you've made a change like that location. If the satellite can see that right away, it passes every 30 days, then it'll make that change. But a lot of times, I live in West Texas, and you know, Lamesa is blowing down the road. They've harvested cotton, so the dirt is loose, and that satellite can't see through the red dirt dust. So it's got to do another pass. So it's another 30 days. And it's still then, if it can't capture it then they'll send the Google car out to be able to verify that. But the verification does have to happen through a process. So it does take some time from time to time. So you can put that there. And of course, if you did not use the service area before earlier when you were first asked it, you can have the ability to change it here. Or let's say you want to change, you realize, hey, most of my customers are actually in San Angelo. They're not here, so maybe you want to focus just in San Angelo as opposed to your local area. Remember, wherever you choose to focus, stay within about 20, 35 miles. That's a sweet spot, 100 miles at the max. You can update your hours. You can also add other hours like senior time. So senior hours, online service hours, curbside delivery. Maybe I was having a senior moment doing that, but not senior moments. Senior shopping or senior special times. And then you can also add more by going to this website. That's your actual dashboard for your Google business profile, where you can even do more adjustments and customizations. Like, for example, uploading your product. So you can showcase your products here. I highly encourage you to do this because a good visual of your product gives people a chance. Let's say they're at an event or they see somebody with it, they can recognize it right away because they recognize the image. And heck, we are a visual society, right? TikTok has proven that to us over and over again. And then also you can update your services. So if you don't have all the services here, you can remove them, but you can add also your custom services. So you have that kind of ability to make those changes and to be in charge of your actual information within Google. You can drop and drag photos here. It's nice and easy to be able to utilize this. Remember, think about your consistency. You're going to get bored with your messaging and your photos before anybody even sees them because you're just so close to them. And good photos that really depict and give a good insight and look into your actual business. So this is a great tool for you to know. Now, what I like to do is I like to repurpose social content because I am definitely not one about just creating content. I like to curate my own content because I know not everybody's on Facebook and not everybody's on TikTok, not everyone's on LinkedIn, but when they're ready to know, go, do, or buy, 96% of them go to Google first, or they go to YouTube and look at DIY, do-it-yourself things, and I want to show up there. So I take my social, even videos, my Instagram reels and stories, I add those as actual posts here because it's a good, especially Instagram posts as videos. It's the same exact dimensions, fits here perfectly. You can repurpose it here. And a little hint, you can also use it as a YouTube short, which YouTube's the #2 search engine in the world, but it's also the #1 social network, even above TikTok, surprisingly enough, right? Now you can also promote your business. You can look at the performance, you can advertise, you can look at reviews. So we'll talk about how you can manage all of this part in just a moment, but let me make sure I've covered your questions. You put some reels on YouTube. Yes, Amy, actually, I put reels on there and I usually use the hashtag shorts. So it'll show up in shorts because shorts actually get favor in the algorithm. If you want to learn more, then part of what we're doing in the boot camp is a session on how you can use YouTube to grow your business. And I can tell you how to really put a strategy in that repurposes what you're doing on socials. So you're not having to create new content. But great question, Amy. All right. Oh yes, absolutely. I'll show you how you can find the bootcamp sessions so you can enroll for all the sessions that we have here within this bootcamp, okay? All right, so the first thing I do want to make sure that I touch base here, before you promote or do anything, look at your performance because this gives you insight into what's working and who your best customer is. Now understand, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing, right, Julie? So I know Julie's here with Transition Skills Training, and if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting your bottom line and not bringing you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. It's important for you to know what's happening. I work with a lot of service-based businesses like heating and air conditioning, right? It's 102 in Midland, Texas right now. So instead of them wanting to send people to their website, they're looking for calls because people are calling saying, make it cold again. And so they're looking for calls, and I can even pull call reports and talk to them about, you know, you're getting calls from this location, and you don't go that far out. You probably should teach Google that's not the location for you and focus all of your efforts at this location. So you can learn. The algorithm does learn as long as you're proactive and looking at your own insights and letting Google know what works and what doesn't work. You can also do updates. Now, some of you said that you do not post updates. You have your Google business profile, but you don't post updates every 5 days. And that's very important because even though your updates are visual, they're able to be seen more than 5 days. Know that the algorithm favors the first 5 days. So understand that anytime you go more than 5 days, especially in an update, it starts lowering where you show up and where people, a number of eyeballs that actually see it. So you want to post at least every 5 days to show the activity. And remember what I said, use your social content. So maybe on Reels or in my story, I might say, do you like this color or this color, right? So I'm doing this or that. Well, that kind of post doesn't do well on Google because people are going there for information, not to be social or to be conversational. But let's say this or that, I found out exactly what it is that they like. They like this color. 75% of Albuquerque loves this color. Is that your favorite too? Now that's the post that I'll use in my Google business profile to showcase, let's say it's a color blouse or a color t-shirt. I may post that and say, that's what Albuquerque, New Mexico likes. Is that what you like too? Because we also have a whole bunch of other colors to, again, do an update that's utilizing the same content and repurposing what I learned in socials. You can also put offers there, so the offers are visible until the actual offer ends. So if your offer ends the end of July, then you're ready to do that. Or events, let's say New Mexico Out, if you wanted to put this as an event, this webinar, this boot camp, you could put that on there and it would have been visible till today when the event started. So make sense? This is what it looks like then. You've got updates, offers, and events. And if you have a Google business profile and you would like to be visible, then make sure you're posting updates every 5 days, an offer if you have any and they're visible till they end, an event if you have any events and they're visible till the event actually happens. Now, one of the other ways you can interact with your customers on your Google business profile is it does house all of the reviews that you're getting for Google. Remember what I said about those 5-star reviews, as well as messages. So let's dive into reviews, because with reviews, if you want to stand head and shoulders above your competitors, then you can do one simple action, and that is say thank you for a good review. 97% of businesses do not say thank you for a good review. And this is something that does not cost you a lot of money, but it shows to your customers that you listen and that you value their input, as well as all of us lurking, trying to find out more about you, reading your reviews. We see whether or not you care at all what your customers say. Now, a lot of times we small businesses are being butcher, baker, candlestick maker in our business. And so we look at the negative reviews and we want to address those, but we leave the positive reviews. Say thank you to really stand head and shoulders above everyone else. Now, if you've been in business any amount of time, you're going to get negative reviews. You'll get trolls. Understand, trolls have more time. Don't feed the trolls. Don't interact with them. If they weren't a customer of yours, you don't have to interact. But even some people will come up with statements, which I've seen, which is really positive, saying, I've looked through our customer records and I don't see that you're a customer, so please contact us here, and they leave their phone number or their email address or their contact form link, and I'd love to be able to help you. Do understand though, that if you're in business any amount of time, you will get negative reviews. If you get a negative review, this is the phrase to remember. That's not the experience I want for you, or that we want for you, however you feel comfortable saying that. That's not the experience I want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Would you please contact us here? And then you put a link to either where they can text you, a link to your contact form, your WhatsApp link, your messenger link, your email address, whatever is the best way for them to contact you, because 3 things happen when you do that. 1, they find out that it's human, and we tend to calm down when we know we're not talking to a chat bot. Now we go human to human, we can tend to settle down a little bit more. It does take the fight offline. We don't have time to win a fight online, and the more we interact with it, the more higher it's seen as popular, so it shows up in more visibility, and we don't want to do that either. But sometimes a bad review is just a complaint in another format, right? And so we just want to be able to address that complaint right away. And that is one way we can do that. And sometimes we can take somebody who's an enemy into an advocate by really listening to them and making adjustments like that. So it's important for you to manage your reviews, and you truly are being truthful, because I've seen a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of financial institutions of several sizes, and I've seen people give their account number, their routing number, and their password in a review because they do not realize that this conversation is public facing in a review. So you are helping them keep their privacy. Again, the phrase is, that's not the experience I want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Here's where you need to contact me, okay? Any questions about that before we go on? Okay, because we're almost at time, but I want to leave you with one last piece of advice, or best practice, I should say, before we get started, all right? Or before we end up. And this is a chance for you to actually change the user role. So if you give the password to your Google account away to anyone, then Google does not see them differently than you. They can shut you down and shut you out. They're an owner just like you are if they have your password. A lot of people do that with agencies and freelancers. Do not do that. What you need to do is, after this, change your password and then give everyone roles. So you're the primary owner. That's the only one who can shut down or shut out other people from this account or shut down the account. An owner doesn't mean they truly own it. It could be somebody that you want to have the kind of accessibility that you have, but you do not want them to be able to shut you down or shut you out. And a manager can do everything that you can do, but can't shut you down, shut you out, or add additional people to your Google account without your permission. Go do this now, because if you have all these wonderful reviews and somebody shuts down or shuts you out of the account, there's nothing the Google team can do to be able to resurrect that for you. You lose all those great reviews. So it really is important to you in managing and being a good steward of your business and your online reputation. Okay? All right, everybody, we are at time. What I'm going to do right now, let me pause this a moment, and I'm actually going to go ahead here just to show you exactly who actually made sure that this happened for you today. If you have any questions that I didn't address today, feel free to reach out to our Google partners that you see here on the list. You might want to screenshot that, but remember, you'll get a copy of today's slides and the recording in 24 hours from now, and you might want to reach out to them. But I'm here if you have any other additional questions, so I am going to stop the recording right now. As I stop the recording,